Good afternoon, folks, folkettes, and everything in between and beyond. My name is Roy, the host of Mahappening, the only host in the history of the internet who fully and wholeheartedly admits that he has no idea what he's talking about, but he tries. And so, of course, it's Wednesday. We lost against the Chicago Bulls. And I tell you, it's not just because of their record. They did have a recent trade, but that didn't reflect itself much other than giddy, right? Of course, a pleasant surprise, I guess, for the Bulls. Very good start for Duncan Robinson. It was questionable, apparently, before the game. There was something that was kind of not clear there. And then all of a sudden, Herro Rozier, he gets those minutes. Now, blaming just Herro Rozier for a night in which the shots don't fall, or at least a few times I saw opportunities for paint shots that were replaced by failed three-point attempts. Now, when those 3 points fall, that's a different story. It's a game changer, and we started shooting very well from the three, and then slowly towards the end of the first half, we were at about 40%, or hovering at about 40% from beyond the arc. But end of the day, we just became a team that I think we blew about 5 or 6 games. We blew leads of 13 points or over, right? With I think the record being 21 or 22 points and a loss. In most of those games, we lost the game. We didn't win the game. We had, wonderful game winners as of late in which we erased a lead, but also a game winner of by Bam Adebayo in which the lead was erased. We had a similar 14-point lead, if I'm not mistaken, that was erased. So basically what happened in the season that we ended, I think, with 44 or 45 wins, and we made it to the play-ins. We lost the first game, if I'm not mistaken. I don't remember who the first, against Atlanta, and then we won against the Bulls, if I'm not mistaken, again. And that season, we actually made it to the finals. Well, throughout that season, as I reminded everyone who watches me a few times throughout those videos, during that season, we won the games that were tight for the most part. And that was a great indicator. We were also beating a lot of teams above 500. Now, we do beat the occasional above 500 team, but right now, especially without Jimmy Butler, and in this sense, it needs to be mentioned until he's out. He needs to be mentioned until it doesn't exist. He needs to be mentioned until he's relegated to a status of a Dion Waiters or something, because that's basically the only way, right? Either he's traded by tomorrow afternoon or evening, or he is with the team, and then I know the organization is going to have to figure out what to do with him and how much they can punish him and how much money they can take away from him, but also how much of his prime he's wasting. And he's trying to make it seem as if Miami's a villain, but then the camp goes out and says, yes, look, we're open to any kind of negotiations. If any team asks permission to speak with Miami, they just, Miami connects us with their reps, and we can talk. We can start talking. The agents can't basically say connects us with our agent connects with that team upon receiving Miami's permission, and then we're ready to go. But no team has asked for permission, according to the report I saw yesterday from Chris Hayes. And obviously, that part of us not having, I wouldn't say, look, throughout those seasons, even last regular season, there is no doubt that Jimmy Butler was looked at as the leader of the team. And in the playoff runs that we made it as far as we did, especially considering the kind of injuries that we did, Jimmy Butler did a lot of the heavy lifting, and that's why it was so gassed against the Lakers or even against the Nuggets, in addition to other personal matters that obviously affected his game. So I am not particularly, again, I cannot judge this team without Jimmy Butler, not because of what Jimmy Butler was in the playoffs a couple of seasons ago, but also because of the force that he is once he gets into that gear and how much it does help the team win. When he's healthy and willing to play, he's a great addition to any team, which I think is kind of obvious. But the persona and the fact that the camp has strongly rumored, it's not just a rumor. I think some people can pretty much vouch that information is real, that Butler's camp shut down other teams requesting for trades because he wants to go to Phoenix and Phoenix only. He wants to be better than Lillard and get what Lillard didn't get because Lillard was a good boy. But at the end of the day, he's just wasting his prime. People are looking at his contract and are saying, okay, as a player, yes, you're definitely worth this, and even maybe the extension, but look at what you're doing in every single team that you get. So I think that some teams that want to get him and he doesn't want to play there, I think it's pointless for them unless they want to, have the flexibility if he opts out. But if he keeps opting in until he gets the deal that he wants to get, so he can continue making the money that he wants to make and not be out of the NBA because he doesn't deserve to be out of the NBA as the player that he is, I don't know what's going to happen. And obviously right now everything seems to be stalled. All the players, I think, Zach LaVine, Middleton, who else? Of course, De'Aaron Fox, but all the players that were rumored that would maybe be used as a facilitator for Butlers, they haven't pretty much exhausted. So they're not there. All those trades have already been done and sealed. And Beal says that he doesn't want to move from the Suns, that he's happy where he is. And I don't know why people would expect Beal to make things easier. He's not the problem. He's not the problem. His contract is a problem. That's not anyone's fault but the Suns to get him and the Wizards for signing it in general, right? So you can't blame Beal for this situation, and you can't blame them. We want to get out of the situation, but we don't want to take on Beal's contract. And yes, according to some reports, Beal did say that he would come to Miami, but that's a horrible contract. Miami Heat organization is not going to shoot themselves in the foot 3 times by not only losing Butler, but also acquiring such a bad contract. So obviously, all of those things concerning the trade of Jimmy Butler and the absence of Jimmy Butler on the court, they weigh a lot when we are looking at Bam being more aggressive. As John Jablanca did mention, no one is afraid of getting to the paint with this team because it's super easy. It really is. Look how easy they score on Herro, on like I said, Highsmith is a great defender, but again, where Bam and Highsmith are being used, right? That's just not, in terms of protecting the paint, that's not happening. In terms of rebounds, we're definitely better. In terms of blocks, we can say we're definitely better. I think the number of blocks kind of increased. Maybe not. Maybe just hovered at the same kind of place. But the main question that lingers and that we're going to have to face against a Philadelphia team that has been getting better and better, and now they have Embiid back. However, time management or whatever to management is going to happen there. The main question is, and I think that's a question, and today Rap told me, look, Heat Twitter, and it's interesting. I have Heat Twitter, but I only follow certain accounts. I look at the comments, and I haven't seen that, but I believe him when he saw people asking journalists, and first of all, they're demanding from the actual media. So who is the actual media that is there? We are not going to say 5 Reasons Sports first, but also them. Why isn't that anyone asks the tough questions and repeatedly game after game? Somebody should have asked about Rozier a month ago, 2 months ago maybe. And once they asked about Rozier the first time, they should have not stopped asking, why is he playing? Why is he playing? Why is he playing? Why is he playing? Why is Rozier playing? It has been an immense negative. We are now way past half the season. We have, 34 games to go or something like that. This is just ridiculous. Why is Terry Rozier, who is innocent to proven guilty, and apparently everything is kind of hushed for now, why is Terry Rozier playing? What does it bring to the team? What kind of dirt does he have on Spo? Why? The other question that people were saying that wasn't asked yesterday, what happened with Duncan? Is Duncan injured? Was Duncan feeling some sort of discomfort? Is that why he got limited minutes in comparison to, again, Terry Rozier? So I concur. I agree. I have said this before, and I'll say it again. Sports media, at least as it pertains to basketball, which is the one that I pay attention to, is subpar. incompetent as it pertains to fact-finding. It's incompetent as it pertains to reliable reporting. I talk to people. I talk to people is not a source. No. I talk to people. Who? The janitor, the woman who I bumped into when I went to the Casilla Center was so nice, and gentlemen from the catering. Who are these people that are unhappy? That's the execution of a bad investigative reporting in which you vet sources. Good for you, you're vetting sources. Good for you, you're vetting sources. We just had Chris Hayes do a whole report about certain things that ended up being true, partly, but, or at least as far as we can perceive, but initially, as we were looking at those things, they weren't as evident. It didn't seem like, okay, I vetted the sources, but what are the sources? We don't know. We don't hear from Spo, and I understand Spo is probably going to say no. What's going to happen? Is he going to remove the credentials? Like, is he not going to let Sun Sentinel be represented by Ira? And if they put another reporter who asks questions, is he going to bar Sun Sentinel from asking questions? Does nobody there, like, is that the kind of fear that they have of this organization in terms of asking questions? Because that to me is very telling of an organization. The lack of transparency of certain things is mind-boggling. It has been at the bottom of our penny pyramids every time I do my worthless of a penny, and it's going to continue to be there. Going to continue to be there, but at the end of the day, you also have to say, okay, they have a lack of transparency, but where are the reporters asking the right questions? Why is Rozier getting 29 minutes? Duncan Robinson was on fire when he did play, and defensively, Ted Rozier doesn't bring a lot of anything better. So obviously, right now, we're pre-trade deadline. That trade deadline, as Andy Nichols said, and he just commented right now, again, this is something that is bearing on people's minds. People are thinking about it. I know some people think they may be included in a trade, whatever trade is happening or not happening. But what we do see is all of the good players or all of the Capitals or anyone that we could see that maybe would have been something interesting to us because of the fact that we don't have the Capitals, because of the fact that Butler's value plummeted so much, they are gone. So what's going to happen? We don't know. What's the likelihood? The likelihood is increasing that Jimmy Butler is going to stay with us until the end of the season. And if anything is true that came from his camp, he's probably going to opt in. So he is not out of the NBA. The Suns could theoretically pursue him, but I don't know how that works in terms of the second apron and the new CBA rules. I would have to see what that way. Like, can they pursue him in free agency and then just match the salary? I don't think they can because they already are in the second apron, which we aren't. So I don't know what's going to happen. In any which case, what's to expect from a game tonight? If there is no game that we can expect any kind of defensive consistency, I don't know. So there is nothing that I'm going to say. There's nothing to expect. There wasn't anything to expect yesterday, but it's definitely frustrating to be winning for the majority of the game just to lose in the last 6 minutes. It's mind-boggling to me. But at the same time, again, it doesn't surprise me. I wasn't expecting any better. We are going to continue hovering at below or a little bit above 500. That's just reality of the situation. We're likely a play-in team, maybe a first seed in the 6th place, and our ceiling is undoubtedly a first-round exit, if at all. Because again, play-ins, everything can happen, but we haven't been that great in those. I think we've won 3 out of 5, something like that, or 2 out of 4. Anyway, stay safe, stay dry, stay as happy as possible in this complicated world of ours, and don't expect anything from the Heat this season. But do expect it from the reporters. Let's go Heat.